If you'd like your volleys to have more stick and offense so you can put away more points at the net, then this is the video that you've been looking for. It's part of our new two-part series, and if you haven't seen the first one, be sure to do so because it focuses on volley accuracy and precision. Both contain special footage from a 2-day intensive volley clinic held here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. You'll see our students guided step-by-step towards volley success from the ground up. Plus, at the end, you'll also be able to download a detailed action plan to follow the very next time you're on the court so you don't waste a single minute of your practice time. For now, let's get right to the court and start talking about how to put away weak, floating shots with the correct technique. This is a shot that we all know intuitively should be easy and it should be a put-away shot, but it's a really frustrating shot for a lot of players because they miss it a lot. They dump it into the net or it just basically sprays in general. And the reason for that, we've talked about this within the context of several other shots around the court. The reason for that is the most common mistake is players use smaller parts of their body to power this shot. And so the racket face starts to get out of control very, very quickly. If the racket is laid back far and hinges through contact, you'll create a lot of racket head speed that way. But in the process, your racket is facing all over the entire other side of the court, basically. So the only chance of hitting your target is by timing that motion like dead perfectly. If it's off by just a little bit, you can miss way long or way into the net. So we're gonna learn how to hit this shot minimizing that action. We are going to do a little bit, but we're going to rely more so on our shoulder and on our core as a whole to power this shot. Here's a quick look at what that should look like on the forehand side, utilizing the bigger, stronger parts of the body instead of smaller, less stable ones. On the forehand side, we're going to make a unit turn, take the racket back up above where contact is going to be, and we're going to lay the racket back a little bit. But from here, as we hinge through, we're going to go out towards our target and finish with the racket on edge, facing towards the target. This is as opposed to a lot of your peers who are laying the racket further back than that and then hinging through and across their body, which is what leads to most of the inconsistency that we see with this shot. Next, I demonstrated a few forehand repetitions at a slow, manageable pace, which is exactly how I recommend you start working on this technique if it's new to you. So Ira's going to feed me a little bit up above shoulder height. I'm going to make my unit turn, take my racket back, come down through the ball and towards my target, which is that cone right in front of me. I'm going to start off doing this just 25%. I'm going to practice my mechanics and practice the timing of this motion and practice my finishing position to make sure I'm not losing control and getting crazy with it. So I'm starting up a little bit above the height of the ball, coming down to the cone and finishing with my racket on edge, facing out towards the cone. So the predominant direction of my swing is towards the cone. It's not across my body, it's not down towards the net, it's towards my target. Once you're able to execute the correct technique consistently, you can slowly start to ramp up the acceleration and firmness, which looks like this. So I'm going to start off at about 50% speed, and then I'm just going to progressively get a little bit firmer as I progress. So start off about half. Ira's going to feed me a little bit above shoulder height. And my focus is going to continue on being direct, right towards my target. So I'm hinging my racket back a little bit, but I'm not laying it way back and swinging way through with my wrist or with my hand. I'm laying back just enough to get a bit of racket head speed through, and then I'm controlling it from there out towards my target. So I'll ratchet up the speed a little bit. It's very, very direct and firm. This would be as opposed to this, trying to use the hand and the wrist more to accelerate the racket head, which will get you a lot of racket head speed, but very little control over where the ball goes. With great power comes great responsibility, and that means being smart enough to only use this technique when it's actually a viable option. I illustrated that for our students with a quick look at the court from a different perspective. Come on out to the court, guys. I just want you to stand right here in line with me and take a look over the net and see how much of the court you can see. From here, if the three of us were to make contact with like a shoulder high or above volley, we can see most of the other side of the court. So from this contact point, we can directly target most of the other side, which gives us a big offensive opportunity. If, on the other hand, from the same position on the court, we get a ball down at knee height, everybody just get down for a second and look at the other side of the court. The net is completely in the way of all of it. So contact down at knee height, even if you're not physically dropping your entire body, the racket can no longer see the other side of the court directly. So from here, we have no choice. We cannot hit directly or else we hit the net. Or if we hit hard and avoid the net, the ball ends up going long because of the pace and trajectory of the shot. So from any contact point below the height of the net, we have to play a touch shot. It's a generic term, but relative to an offensive shot, it has to be feel-based and not offense-based. So it's really important that we realize what opportunities are there and what opportunities are not there, because this kind of technique gets overused a lot on volleys that are like waist height and on the service line. And you can make it if you clear the net by a couple inches, but any lower than that, we miss. Any higher than that, it ends up going long. So it's critical to know what your racket face can see from its vantage point. If you can't see your target directly, the technique we're about to practice is not appropriate. Getting reliable power and offense on your backhand volley means following the very same fundamental building blocks with one notable difference. Here's what that is. We're going to lay the racket head back a little bit more this time. We don't have as much strength naturally on our non-dominant side. This is one of the most complained about shots that I've heard from doubles players, is a high backhand volley. And a lot of this has to do with A, just not being as strong on that side, and then B, trying to make up for that by doing a lot of this kind of stuff. And like with the forehand side, we do want to use some snapping of the racket head, but not so much that we lose control. So on this side, I'm going to make a unit turn, lay my racket face back, go through, and then finish, just like on the forehand side, on edge, out towards my target, without turning over across to my dominant side. So I'll start off real soft and relaxed, just like we did with the forehands. On edge, and then out towards the target. I'm sorry, open and then on edge, out towards the target. That's what I should have said. And then as you get a good feel for it, you can start to accelerate that and be a little bit firmer, closing the racket face towards your target as you separate your hands. Next, our students came out to spend some time practicing the forehand and backhand techniques I demonstrated, while I recommended some small adjustments. Start with forehands. Carla, show us a couple of shadow swings, please. Up and then out towards this. Yeah, that's exactly it. Yep. So start off at real calm 25% speed. Good. Rob, I'd like to see you actually hinge back more. Right now, as you take your racket back, you're going to about here. I'd like to see you lay it back more so there's more room to accelerate your racket head through the shot. It's going to make it a little bit tougher to control, but I'd like to see you experiment with it to create a little bit more racket head speed. Start off slowly at first. I don't want you to go full bore right away, but lay it back a little further. Yeah. You feel right away how there's kind of more momentum going through the point of contact? There's a really different sound. There's more of a pop to that one, even though you're not trying hard. Right idea. And then allow your shoulder to just lead the racket out towards the cone. You'll separate your hands. Good, yeah. Nice job, nice job. Now you have more knowledge about what it takes to hit the volleys you've always wanted. But you'll only change your habits and your level of play with deliberate, purposeful practice following the drills and techniques that you just saw. To help you do that, I want to give you a detailed step-by-step practice plan that you can use the very next time you step out onto the court. You'll be able to follow the same process our students did to get results like them. Simply click the link in the description down below and let us know where to send your free download, or go to www.volleyactionplan.com and enter your email address. I can't wait to hear about your volley improvements. We've got lots more coaching coming out soon, so be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss out on any of it. If you enjoyed this video, please do me a favor and click like, and also be sure to leave any comments or questions that you may have right down below. Thank you so much for watching. Take care and good luck with your tennis.